Hey guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I'm doing a review of the movie Tarot. And this is one that I've had for a little while, I think over a year. I've had a chance to work with it, really get to know it, and I figured now is a great time for me to do a review for you guys. Okay, so first of all, straight away, I loved Uma Thurman in Kill Bill. Loved that jacket. Actually ended up getting a replica jacket of that because I love the movie so much. So anyway, um, you have the information kind of on the outside of the box. So it's illustrated by Natalie Foss. The guidebook was written by Diana McMahon Collis. And you see there's some gold foil going on here. Be guided by the stars. Very, very cheeky. And I can't wait for you to see which stars were paired with which cards. But anyway, on the back here, we have a little bit more information about being guided by the stars. Your storyline is in the cards, and well, the tarot is the story of us, right? And our movies that we create, our TV shows, they're meant to be a reflection of how we understand reality, right? So when you guys are working with tarot cards, it's a reflection of how you understand your reality being reflected through those cards. And so I think it's a nice connection there, you know, pairing movies and those characters with the characters in the tarot, because really they're archetypes. And many of our movie characters are representative of those archetypes. Anyway, so here is the guidebook. And we have some of that information here. It's from 2020. So yes, you know, I've had it for just about a year now. A little bit of an introduction on the tarot itself and on moving pictures, motion pictures, and what that hero's journey means as it pertains to movies and the tarot. And of course, we have some suggestions here on how you could conduct a reading, but you know, you do you. Always follow your intuition. And then we have a few card spreads that you could utilize. So the close-up, the lights, camera, action, and the big picture, which I felt was kind of cheeky. But okay, so we have a little bit of color within this guidebook, which I think is pretty cool. So it not just being plain black and white. But let's say for the Fool card, it gives you, of course, the Rider-Waite-Smith meanings for the Fool. And remember that not all tarot decks are RWS. There are other tarot systems out there, but this one is following the RWS system. So for the Fool, we have being represented there Tom Hanks in his character of Forrest Gump. So Forrest Gump embodying the archetype of the Fool. And down here you have a little bit of a quote which embodies that. So Forrest Gump explaining the importance of embracing whatever life throws your way, which is kind of what the Fool embraces. Mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So here is the life's lesson and a little bit of information about that particular card. And it goes on that way with all of your major arcana cards. And yes, they even have Tony Montana there and Lydia Dietz. Beetlejuice. We have the characters from Brokeback Mountain. We have Ripley from Alien. Just so many cool things. Oh, David Bowie as Jareth in Labyrinth. And then it goes into the minor arcana and what those suits and numbers represent. And then you have full color of the court cards, and basically what all the kings here represent, the queens, the knights, also known as the cavaliers, and the pages, also known as knaves. But then down here, if you're wondering like, oh, what movie is this? This movie looks familiar, but I don't quite know. So you look down here, and this was Will Smith in The Men in Black. So if you want to know the actual movies that these are from, it's all listed here. Starring... Oh, and of course my girl Angelina Jolie. Loved her in Tomb Raider. Actually have that Halloween costume. Anyway, moving on. The minor arcana is pips. So you'll see that in there. But I think when it's mixed in with the very colorful court cards and the major arcana, I don't find it to be you know, too much of a distraction. Normally I'm not a pips card kind of person. I like my full illustrations of things, but you'll see when it's all laid out. Okay, and then, you know, you guys can make your opinion after that. All right, so inside this box we have a beautiful kind of cobalt blue or dark blue in here, maybe a cavalier blue. And then this is just kind of plastic, or not plastic, but more cardboardy, just to kind of hold your cards in here. You can take it out if you want. You can put your deck in a nice little pouch. It's totally up to you. For me, I just carry it in here, even though the box is ridiculously large. So I'll go ahead and put these off to the side, and let's bust out these cards. All right, so, oh darn, I forgot to bring one of my other tarot decks out here, but basically it's a smidge, I would say a smidge like right about here, taller than your average size tarot deck, and just a smidge wider, I would say right about to here. So like basically if you take this border off, I don't know if you can see it here. If you take this border off, it would actually be a traditional tarot size deck. Okay, and actually while we're in the back here, let's take a look at the backing. So here it says the movie tarot. Obviously if you read reversals, the backing is not set up to do so. And I guess it doesn't prevent you from doing it, but you kind of know which cards are already in the reverse position. All right, it doesn't have much of a sheen to it, and that's because this is a matte finish. It doesn't feel like it has much protection on it at all, but I have used it, you know, for about a year or so, and I haven't really noticed any chipping or anything. So we'll see how it stands up years from now. But I think it has pretty good cardstock. It's very flexible, but I wouldn't say too stiff. But I would say this is about maybe over a 300 GSM cardstock, so it's rather thick actually, but it's got enough bend to it for those of you that like that whole riffle shuffle. For me, I'm a side shuffler, so it doesn't really bother me. Okay, on the fronts, let me see, I wanted to get to the pips. The pips kind of look like that, but like I said, when you pair it with some of the other colors in the deck, it's not so bad. All right, but let's take a look at these cards one by one. Okay, so here we go. You won't have the name of the character on the card. You'll just have the, you know, whether it was a 5 of Cups or, you know, the title of the particular major arcana or minor arcana, or the, you know, court card name. So like I said, you'd have to refer to the guidebook if you didn't know who these characters were. But I think that, like I said before, having movie characters, which, you know, is mixing in our pop culture, which is a part of us as human beings. And in the area that I live here in, you know, the United States, I get to see my environment reflected in these cards, and I get to make that much clearer a connection. Like say, when we get to the Queen of Coins. Now I've watched Tomb Raider before, and I know how Lara Croft has, you know, Angelina Jolie has embodied the archetype that Lara Croft represents, you know, in this Queen of Coins. And what does that mean, you know, for me, if I'm that Queen of Coins and I get to make these interesting connections with something that I know. This might be a little harder for beginners, I think, to read this deck. Like for the 10 of Wands here, there's less to go off of visually in trying to understand the card. Doesn't mean you can't use this as a beginner deck, because I'm never trying to dissuade people over what they use as their first deck or not. My first deck was the Osho Zen. Well, I mean, technically it was the Enchanted Tarot, but the one I really learned on was the Osho Zen, and some people would not consider that a beginner deck, but here we are. So yeah, I just kind of want to put that out there. I kind of wish these weren't pips, that they were illustrated, but I'm so happy with how they paired, you know, these movie characters with the minors and, or sorry, the court cards and the major arcana, that I think that when it mixes with these pip cards, it's kind of cool. So I don't find it to be a big deal. Plus, I'm very familiar with the meanings of the minor arcana. But when they're just like side by side like this, I could see how that could be confusing to somebody who is just starting off reading tarot. You're like, what does that even mean? And it's a lot easier when there's some visual there and you're like, okay, well, this kind of looks like this. And that helps you remember the meanings, but also helping you to tap into your own intuition, which I feel you should. Yay! From the Princess Bride. Very, very excellent artwork. I think this is fabulous. And I've had a lot of fun with these in readings. I bust this out every now and then in my client readings. And they appreciate it too, because then they feel like, like some people that I read for, they read tarot as well. So they know exactly, what these cards are doing. But some people have no idea like what any of these meanings are in a Rider-Waite-Smith system. And so being able to see something like this and they're like, oh wait, I know who that is. Oh, okay. And then they make the connections in their own life. And I think it's fun. It's fun that way. Keeps things also lighthearted, especially if you're dealing with some intense topics. Being able to, have something like this, I think helps. And I'm not one to shy away from deep topics. I will never gloss over things like that in anybody's reading, nor my own. But I definitely want things presented in a way where people won't shut down, where they'll be open to understanding and receiving these messages so that they can find the healing that they need. And so I feel that this is a great deck for that, because it's incorporating us, this culture. And I feel like if maybe some other countries did this with their own pop culture, that would be really cool as well. I mean, I guess I guess there's a little bit of visual in there, I suppose. Willy Wonka. I love the bright colors though. I think that's very cool. And you might be wondering if the cards are actually a little yellowed. They aren't actually bright white. They do have a little bit of a yellow color to them. They came that way. So just so you know, because my background is actually kind of white and these cards are not. Bruce Lee. That's my dad's main man. My dad wanted to be just like Bruce Lee. And James Brown and Zorro and the Lone Ranger. My dad wanted to be a few things. Actually, he still wants to be those things. Actually, his nickname is Zorro. Very cool. And as you guys are watching this video now, I bet you're like, oh my gosh, that movie. Love the scales and that justice card and the gun. Doling out justice. And Ripley. I always have to look at the strength card. That is my birth card, so it's got to be bad A, man. All right, so that's it. Okay, so we've come to the end of the review, and what I like to do is actually do a reading. So this is a little general reading. If it connects with you, that is fabulous. If not, then I hope you just enjoyed looking at all these 78 images of artwork. I love to fill the internet with gorgeous images and several different variations of art and interpretations. I just think, you got to fill the world in color. All right, so I will say that because the cardstock is a bit thicker, hands of my size, I don't think if my hands were any smaller, it would, or if they were smaller, it would be a little harder to shuffle these cards. You might have to do a top shuffle in that case. But I'm 5'8", so I don't know, I don't have huge hands, but anyway, So yes, let's go ahead and pull a few cards. You'll see that over time they did get a little bit curved, even though I'm not a riffle shuffler, but whatever, that doesn't bother me. All right, so let's pull 1, 2, and one more. 3. Okay, a little general message. Hopefully this connects with some of you guys out there. All right, we have the Tower. We have the Sun. Interesting. Move this out of the way. And we have the World. We have 3 major Arcana cards. How cool is that? Okay, so I actually want to go into the guidebook because I forgot the names of some of these characters. Like, I know the movies, but I just want to give you guys the correct names. I know that this one's from Pulp Fiction, but yes, he plays Jules Winfield. That's right, Samuel L. Jackson plays Jules Winfield in Pulp Fiction. And then we go to our Sun card, and that was Maria von Trapp in The Sound of Music, and that was Julie Andrews that plays Maria von Trapp. Love Julie Andrews' voice. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then our world card was Mila Jovovich playing Lilu in The Fifth Element. Now, I love the diva in The Fifth Element, the blue diva. And yes, I do like to practice singing that song because in real life, I actually am a professional opera singer. But anyway, that aside, let's go for our message here. All right, so I'm feeling like a lot of us have been going through some big tower moments. The world going through big shifts and transformation and tower moments. But a lot of that had to happen, whether those big events happening in your personal life or more at a global level, because it was shaking up some stagnant energy so that change can come in, change in the way people think, the way people operate, and it also shifts the vibration of the earth itself. When the people of the planet, the animals of the planet, the living beings on this planet shift their perspective and the way they do things, it's going to create an earthly shift. So here we have the Sun card, that this is all for the best, and it's going to illuminate that for you, when you get to see that bigger perspective, that higher perspective of like, okay, so this happened, but now I'm doing this, and now the family's doing this, or we're doing this, or whatever, and you can kind of see how this was needed, even though it never feels good or comfortable at the time. In fact, we fight it kicking and screaming like, I don't want this. But yet when it happens, changes are made, and sometimes those changes and the benefits of it aren't seen for years. Some of them straight away, some of them take weeks, but there is a positive outcome for it, and it is bringing this chapter to a close, so that you can go along a new kind of direction, which otherwise would not have been known had this event not taken place. So it's kind of a positive message for anybody who maybe has felt like this has been too much, and why did this happen? But just know that that particular chapter is coming to a close, and if you haven't already seen the benefits that have come from this, even though maybe this wasn't most pleasant, you will soon enough. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this message. I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know how this connected with you. Sometimes not all the pieces connect with people because there are quite a few people that watch, but I hope some people were able to get a good message there. And I thank you guys for hanging out with me in the review of the movie tarot. And again, that was by Diana McMahon Collis and her illustrator Natalie Foss, who did a fabulous job. Again, it was a pip deck, but one that I have a good time with. So that's it for me, spiritual homies. Let me know what you thought. If you dug this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And If you want to catch a reading from me, head over to www.kittenswaitsandtarot.com. Let me know if you want me to use this deck. I'd be more than happy. But I have a lot of different things besides readings in my shop. I have my room and body sprays. I have my salves. I have my Wally's World Oracle, which was community created and community funded. But if you're looking for more witchy items, head over to Desert Cauldron. It's all one word on Etsy. It's run by myself and James at Light of Riga. Or you can visit our Instagram at desert.cauldron. And many times we place our items on Instagram because it's a lot cheaper for us to get payment and ship through there than it is through Etsy. And in which case we also make the price much cheaper. So definitely check that out. But we have one-of-a-kind items that have been handcrafted by us or local artisans or artisans from afar, but we make sure that they are unique and one-of-a-kind for your one-of-a-kind practice. I'd say an example would be actually this last wand we have. This is an 80 million year old mosasaur tooth with Mexican fire opal on it, and it's just, the power in this wand is amazing. And this is one of a kind because it's a freaking fossil. And this is the last one that we have. We do have one more, but that one is personal, that one is mine. But this one is the last one that we have in the shop. Light of Riga, he deals in the world of crystals, and so in his shop, Light of Riga, he has many pieces just like this. Actually, this is one of the pieces in his shop. He has this beautiful amethyst. So like I said, definitely check out Desert Cauldron for things just like this. Yeah, and all my other information is down below, you guys, for my Patreon. I do specific fun things with my Patreon homies, certain live chats, readings, meditations, all of that. I have my Leon Mystery School where I teach Mayan astrology and alongside other teachers and other subjects, and also my newsletter and stuff like that. But anyway, that's it for me, spiritual homies. I will catch you later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.